Hakadosh Boker Or Masechet Kiddushin, a new Masechet. Yeah, the Bet Amud Aleph. We're starting from the beginning. Haisha niknet b'shalosh drachim. A woman can be acquired in three different fashions. The konayet atzman, she's going to acquire herself, ishte drachim, in two different fashions. Niknet bekesef shtar b'biyad. These are the three different ways that a woman is going to be acquired: through money, a document, or through relations. The kesef, Bet Shammai Omrim, Bet Shammai comes and it says, "Bedinar shaveh dinar." It has to be with a dinar or shaveh dinar. And Bet Hillel come and they argue. They says, no, even with the pruta, shaveh pruta. And that's how we pasken. The kama pruta, echam ishmoneh beisar haitalki, 1/8 in the isar haitalki. It's basically a matbea of kesef. And here it says basically it's going to be like 1/40th of a gram. Okay, of kesef, of silver. Okay, basically it's very, very, when they come in nowadays, they start making this calculation, how much is a shaveh pruta. It's not even $1, basically. It's like, it's nothing. Right?
No,
that was the first shita. That was Bet Shammai. But Bet Hillel comes and he says a pruta, and shaveh pruta, which is nothing. Okay, then it says, the konet atzma beget. How does she acquire herself back? With a get. Umitat baalim, with the death of the husband. Okay, so those are only two ways. So to acquire her, it's three ways. Two, that she acquires herself, is with two ways. Hayivama is only going to be acquired with biyah. The konat atzma, which means that you acquire a yivama with biyah and without any other way. Even though we did speak about ma'amad and other ways, but that's all, meaning mina Torah, it's only with biyah. That's the only way to acquire a yivama. The konat atzma, she's going to acquire herself with chalitza or with mitat yavam, when the yivam passes away. Okay. So that's the Mishnah, very clear until here, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Says the Gemara, Haisha niknet, a woman is going to be acquired. Maishna hacha detani haisha niknet, maishna hatam detani haish mekadesh. Why is it that we are using a language of kinyan? Haisha niknet. Niknet is kinyan, right? In maishna hatam, and that's in our Mishnah. And why is it that over there, which is going to be in the second perek, which is going to be in Mem Aleph Amud Aleph, so imagine, right? That's the Mishnah Rishona in the second perek. I mean, the first chapter of Kiddushin is going to be 40 dapim. Yeah, we're going from Bet to Mem Aleph, right? Mem Aleph Amud Aleph, just to pay attention, right? So that means you don't think that there's going to be a perek so quickly, okay? So why is it that all of a sudden we're going to come and we're going to have, right? Haish over there, it says Haish Mekadesh. We're talking about Kiddushin. Right? What's a Masechet called? Masechet Kiddushin or Masechet Kinyanim? So Kiddushin. So why is it that in the first Mishnah we're learning Haisha Niknet, Belashon Kinyan acquisitions? And why is it that over there it's written Haish Mekadesh, that a man comes and he makes the acquisition with basically doing Kiddushin? A man can make Kiddushin. So answers the Gemara, Mishum de Kabai Lemitne Kesef. He comes and he says the Mishnah wanted to teach us that one of the ways of making the acquisition was kesef. Meaning, how do you do kiddushin? Through kesef. So since you're making kiddushin through kesef, so we use the lashon of kinyan, because what do you usually do with kesef? You make a koneh, you make a kinyan. So therefore we use the terminology of kesef. So ask the Gemara, the kesef minala, how do you know be'emet that you're allowed to use kesef for kiddushin? How do you know? How do you know you're allowed to use kesef for kiddushin? So the answer is the Gemara, Gama kicha miste efron. So the Gzera Shava. The Gzera Shava is that it says kicha by ste efron. Ktivach, it's written by kiddushin. Kikach ishisha. Right? When you're going to take, right, when a man takes a woman, and that's talking about kikach, we're talking about there kichav kiddushin. Uchtivatam, and it's written by Avraham Avinu and ste efron, natati kesef hasadeh kach mimeni. Take from me. So the fact that we use the same terminology of kach, ki kach, and kach mimeni, one of them had to do with money, right? The kesef hasadeh, kach mimeni, and the other one was ki kach ishisha, kichav kiddushin. So if we learn from there, Gzera Shava, that you're allowed to use kesef for kiddushin. So says the Gemara, right? The kicha yikre kinyan, and therefore the Gemara says kicha is called a kinyan. Because still you could say, okay, fine, maybe you could just say that take from me the money, but whoever said that he made a kinyan with that money. So he says, when he says Hasadeh Shekana Avraham, the sadeh that Avraham acquired. So since it says this is a sadeh that Avraham Avinu acquired from Ephron, this is a proof that it was a good acquisition. So you see from here, so one more time, we had kicha from Ephron. By Ephron it's written, kesef de kach mimeni, take from me, kach. We say the gzera shava kicha from Kiddushin, ki kach ishisha. Fine, but says the Gemara, fine. Now I know that it was money. But how do you know that the money is called an acquisition? Right? So he says, a sadeh shekana Avraham. Avraham Avinu did a kinyan. How did he do the kinyan? Because he gave the money. So therefore, that's how we know that it actually works. Bet amud bet. To be or not to be? Yeah? So he comes and he says, inam. Or, right, there's another lashon of kinyan. Sadot bakesef yiknu. It says in Yirmiyahu over there that fields, you're going to acquire them with kesef, right? And therefore, since we find the lashon of kinyan when you're purchasing sadot, and therefore we're coming and we're learning the sadot that a woman could also be acquired, right, with kesef. So therefore, we came and we learned haisha tani. Therefore, we came and we learned haisha niknet, meaning the only reason why we learned haisha niknet instead of haisha mitkadeshet or whatever it was only because we're talking about what? We're talking about we wanted to bring down the chidush of kesef. Yeah, kesef minalan. Yeah, how does the person learn kesef? Yeah, that's the entire concept. Okay, fine. So says the Gemara, fine. Now that you just learned why do you use the lashon of kinyan by kesef, so he comes and he says, so why don't we learn, instead of learning ha'ish mekadesh, teach ha'ish koneh? 1 second, one more time. We started off by saying, why does he say isha niknet and ha'ish mekadesh? So we answered, no, haisha niknet because of kinyan. Which kinyan? Kesef. That's what we want to teach you. And then we went on tangent. How do you know kesef works? Now we flip the question. If you already just told me that what? That, so over there, why ha'ish mekadesh? Say ha'ish koneh. That he's going to, how's it? Through kesef. Answers the Gemara, Mikara Tani Lishna Doraita. At the beginning, we wanted to learn the Lashon of Doraita, right? Which means in the Torah, it says Kikach, which is Lashon Kinyan. So therefore, we wanted to bring down the Lashon of Midoraita. Ulvasof, but at the end, which is the second perek, right? Tani Lishna Derabanan. They were already going to learn a Lashon of Derabanan. And therefore, since we're already learning Lashon of the Rabbanan, so therefore that's why we said that we're going to learn Haish Koneh instead of Niknet, which is basic, what's it called, the Yikach, right? Understood? Meaning, we wanted to start off with something which is Doraita. Since we learned the Kicha from Stefron, so therefore we're learning a Din Doraita. So therefore, in the first Mishnah, we bring down a Din Doraita, which is Haisha Niknet. However, though, once already we finished that, so now we can already go down to Lashon Rabbanan. So says the Gemara, "My Lishna Rabbanan te'asala kule alma ke'ekdesh." So he says, what is a Lishna of the Rabbanan? He says, because when you learn and you use the language of Ha'ish Mekadesh, you're teaching you a Din Rabbanan that basically, right, that's why the Lashon Chachamim are using this, it's like Lashon Hekdesh, right, that she becomes sanctified to you. By the way, that's why it's very difficult to actually translate. How do you say Harat Mekudeshetni? Right. Exactly, because Mekudeshetni, what is exactly Aisha Mekudeshet? When some people they come and they actually say it in English, right? You're sanctified to me. You're designated to me. You're right. The designated is Yuchedet, right? Or you're married to me. Is that there's many? Something that the second many times when you change it to an English language, it becomes very, very difficult to actually pinpoint. Exactly. Sometimes separated, sometimes designated. Yeah. Sometimes it becomes very, very, difficult. So now the Gemara is going to say, "V'nitne hacha haish koneh." So why is it that we're going to learn over here haish koneh? The Mishnah, the Gemara asks, why doesn't our Mishnah then should say haish koneh? Meaning, over there, again, one more time, there's two different functions. There's the one that's acquiring and the one that's being acquired, right? There, we're talking about the man Ha'ish mekadesh. Here, why does it say that Isha mitkadeshet or niknet? Just say Ha'ish koneh, right? Instead of Ha'ish mekadesh, because we already explained why does it say over there mekadesh, and here it's in lashon kinyan. So answers the Gemara, mishum de kabayla mitin seifa. We needed the seifa. The konat atzma bedida. Since she has to acquire herself, and that's in the seifa of the Mishnah, how does the woman acquire herself? The get or mitat habal, the death of the husband. So because of that, we also taught in the Reisha, how does a woman acquire her, meaning how is a woman acquired? Meaning we wanted to speak about the woman because we didn't want to say Ha'ish koneh, and then what? And then, no, then we're going to have to say Ha'isha konat atzma. So because of that, we just said Ha'isha niknet v'konat atzma. Okay, that's what we're focusing on the woman. Okay? So ask the Gemara, Benitne, why don't we learn Ha'ish koneh umakne? Right? What does that mean? Ha'ish koneh et ha'isha, meaning the man is going to acquire the woman in 3 drachim, and then makne ota le'atzma with 2 different ways. Right. So it says, Mishum di'ika mitat ha'ba'al delo yihu kamakne min shamay od makne. He says because there are 2 ways to acquire. Right? The get, it's true. The get, he acquires to her. But mitat ha'ba'al has nothing to do with him. Mitat ha'ba'al, he dies. It's min hashamayim that they do that. So because of that, they couldn't use that. For you could answer another answer. Itana koneh, if you would have taught Aisha niknet or Ish koneh basically, havamina filu bal kurcha. That's even against her will. The Tana Aisha niknet, the midata in, shelo midata lo. Meaning it has to be dafka midata, the shelo midata, we don't do that. Meaning, I don't know if you ever paid attention, right? Basically, it says like this, if you ever paid attention, the entire concept of Kiddushin, everything is showing that it has to be with her will. And it's not like a get. A get, you could give it against her will. Fine, there's a chiddush Rabbi Gershom that has to be that she has to agree, fine, but meaning mitzad the Torah, the get is afilu bal kolcha, even against her will. But to do with Kiddushin, you always want her to understand. Harea mekudeshet mitabat zo kedam Moshe Yisrael. She has to agree, she has to put out her finger. We have to ask in front of her. This is Shaveh Pruta, to show her that she's getting married with Shaveh Pruta. Because we don't want her to say that, no, she thought it was worth much more money than if she found out she was much. That's why it's not supposed to have a ring or any type of not a ring, a diamond or any type of a jewel. Because if not, she's going to say, I thought it was a $10 million thing. That's why I got married to him. But if it's not, I would have. No. You're getting married with a piece of paper, with nothing, with the Shaveh Pruta. The Shaveh Pruta, that's what you're getting married with. It's worth $1, right? I bought it at the dollar store yesterday. You understand? But she has to agree. Everything, she has to see. Everything has to be in a way that she's agreeing 100% with everything that's going on. So therefore, if you're going to use the terminology, Ha'ish koneh, right? It's mashma that I could acquire you even if you don't like it. I come and I buy it and say, come on, you have no choice, right? Imagine, you come to a woman in the street, you don't care if she's screaming or not. You give it to her, come on. You put it on her finger. Grab her finger, boom, you put it, that's it. It doesn't work. Kiddushin has to be with her will. Midata. That's why you cannot use the lashon of ha'ish koneh. You say isha niknet. She's acquired through these ways, but it has to be there with her will. Okay? So fine. Says the Gemara, umay idia titani shalosh. Why did you say shalosh? Nitni shlosha. Shalosh is lashon zachar. Shlosha is lashon, right? Shalosh is lashon nekeva. Shlosha is lashon zachar. Yeah, 100%, right? So he comes and he says, the answer is the Gemara, mishum de kabayla mitin derech. We wanted to speak about the derech. The derech lashon nekeva. The word derech is lashon nekeva. The chtiv, as it says, ve'odata lahem et derech. Since it says derech yelechu bah is referring to the derech is lashon nekeva. So since derech is lashon nekeva, so you wanted to say shalosh derachim is lashon nekeva. You didn't say shlosha derachim, right? Because it's lashon zachar. Derech lashon nekeva. So you have to say the corner. So says the Gemara, 1 second. Ve'ela hadetanya b'shiva derachim bodkin et zav. There are 7 ways that you check the zav, and there it says shiva derachim. Shiva is lashon zachar. So how could you tell me that derech is lashon nekeva And that's why you wanted to say shalosh drachim, right? Over here it says shiva drachim, and there it's lashon zachar. So what's going on then, right? Botkinet zav. That's how we check the zav, whether to find out whether Mehmet is a zav or not. Nitni, because we said no, that's not proof. That's not a proof. That's not a proof, by the way. Kachi darka shel Torah. Yeah, there, right? The truth is though that there it's the Torah. Torah is female, but it's not nothing to do with that. You always have to take it. How do you? The way that I was taught is that you take it. How do you explain? With the synonyms, not the synonyms, the adjectives. How do you explain it? Is it yafeh or yafa? What? Yeah, derech rechoka. Right? Meaning, if you're going to come, exactly, yafa or yafeh. Right? So therefore, that's how you, so for example, bait finishes with a tav, right? And you actually say batim, right? But you say batim yafim, right? It's bait yafeh, right? It's male, right? So zachar, even though it's bait, it finishes with tav, and you think that it's, no, it's still male, right? It's not tav. Shulchan, right? Shulchan is, how do you say, shulchan yafeh or yafa? Yafeh.
Even though it's nekeva.
Even though shulchanot.
Wow.
You understood? So that means you see by the word yafeh, you see whether shulchan is male or female according to the way of how you explain the word. That's what they teach you in Dikduk. It's very complicated. It's not it's not the, you understand? But that's the way that it is.
What about Ivrit? Language. Ivrit yafa.
Ivrit is safa. Safa ha'ivrit.
Yeah. אבל למה זה נקבה? אומרים עברית יפה, נכון?
Yeah.
שפה יפה.
שפה יפה, yeah, עברית יפה. Okay? So you come and he says like this. So it says, if you're going to tell me now that derech is female, so how can you tell me it's female? And that's why by us we use shalosh, the shalosh drachim, right? Because it's female. It says shiva drachim. And shiva is male. We just said shiva is male. Shiva drachim botkin et azav. Nitni sheva. Answers the Gemara, Mishum dekba lemitne derech, since the Mishnah want to teach you derech, ve'ashkechan derech tiikre lashon zachar, tichtiv bederech echad yetzu elecha u'shiva drachim yanusu lefanecha. He says, do you know that the word derech can sometimes be female and sometimes be, right, male? It could be both, because it says bederech echad. Echad is male. And it says derech echad. So therefore, you see from here, Shiva Drachim, right? So therefore, you see from here that be'emet, that it's going to be also male. So the Gemara says, Yachi kashu. So I don't understand you. Then it's a stira in the psukim now. You're telling me et derech asher yelechuba, which means it's female, and then you're telling me b'derech echad yetzu elecha of Shiva Drachim, which is male. Make up your mind. What's going on then? So first of all, you have a contradiction of psukim. One pasuk is teaching you for the talayim et derech asher yelechuba, which is going to be in Shemot over there in Yitro, right? So you're going to have one problem over there that it's female, and by here, which is in Kitavo, right? This is in the Brachot over there, right? It's written b'derech echad yitzu lecha v'shiva drachim yanusu lefanecha, and then so you have a contradiction in the psukim. You also have a contradiction in the Mishnayot also, right? Because you have shiva drachim botkim et zav, right? Which is a Mishnah. And then also you have our Mishnah, shalosh drachim. Yeah? So what happens exactly then? So says the Gemara, Krae ahadade lakashian. He says, do you know what? In the Torah, it's not a contradiction. He says, why? Hacha, by here, when it says, right? Diva Torah kai, the Torah ikre lashon nekeva. It's going on the Torah. That's why I told you, kachi darka shel Torah. That's not a proof that derech is female, because it's going on the Torah. Torah is female. Tichtiv Torah Hashem timam min shiva nafesh. So katav larishon. So therefore, since over there it's written and it's referring to the Torah, so the derech over there is referring to the Torah. So shilchuba ba is in the Torah. So therefore, it's not a proof against the thing. Why? Because there it's going on the Torah. Hatam over there when it's talking about derech echad yitzu elecha milchama kai. We're talking about war, and milchama tarko shel ish laso milchama mendu milchama. So therefore it says derech is going to be on lashon zachar. Okay? Matzniti nahadadi lo kasha. So that's the answer of the Torah. Until you were clear. Meaning one more time. We have the word derech at the beginning. We want to say it's stira. Whether it's in the Torah, that we had one place saying derech hashalichubah, and another place derech echad. So it's a stira in the Torah, and you have a stira in the Mishnayot. Mishnah and Zavim, right? The Mishnah in Zavim that speaks about Shivat Drachim Botkim et Zav, and the Mishnah by us Shalosh Drachim. So you have a stira in the Mishnayot, stira in the Psukim. We answer that the Psukim, it all depends who you're referring to. In the first pasuk, we're referring to the Torah. So there it says Veta derech hashel yelchubah. It's referring to the Torah. Torah is nekeva. So therefore also yelchubah is the nekeva. But when it says b'derech echad, there's talking about milchama. Milchama. Who does milchama? Men do milchama, not women. So because of that, that's why it's going to be brought down. Right, this entire concept. Matzniti nadadi lakashir. And also the Mishnah is on a contradiction. Hacha delagabe isha kai. Here we're talking about a woman. So ktani limashon nekeva. So therefore we're talking about shalosh drachim. Hatam over there by zavim, it's delagabe ish kai. Meaning a man checks a ziva, not the woman checks it. Because a woman, even if it's be'ones, haisha metamet be'ones keratzon. Meaning we just learned nida. And when we learned nida, we said that a woman becomes tmeah even be'ones. Even if he kavtza, or she jumped, or she did something, she becomes tmeah no matter what. So for there's nothing what to check. She saw blood, Kaddish. There's nothing what by the man you have to check. Was it be'ones? Was it not be'ones? What exactly is going on? By the man you have to check, not by a woman. So because of that, Tani Lashon Zachar. That's what he says. Shiva Drachim. We're talking about by a man. So says the Gemara. Okay, fine. My tama Tani Shalosh Mishum Drachim. Why do we say Shalosh? Because of Drachim. So just Nitne Dvarim. Learn Dvarim. Why do you say Shalosh Drachim? Say Shalosh Dvarim. Venitne Shlosha Dvarim. Right? Remember, there's always Shlosha Dvarim. Al Shlosha Dvarim Ha'olam Omed. It's not just Dvarim Echad. Yeah, yesh Shlosha Dvarim. Yeah. Yeah. So he comes and he says, Mishum dekabay lemitne biyah. Says the Gemara, right? Because they have to teach biyah. Ubiyah ikre derech. Right? Dichtiv v'derech gever be'alma ken derech isha menafet. That means just like a derech of the man, I have a derech gever be'alma, so too is the derech of isha menafet. There it's talking about that things which are hidden from the eyes. So derech gever be'alma means biyah is hidden. Just like the derech of isha that she's having immoral relations, it's hidden. A woman that's committing adultery, she doesn't do it in front of everybody. She'll get caught. She does it hiding. Derech isha menafet. The derech is not just the way. It's like derech eretz. It's like the way of the lemmy tashmish. It's relations. So therefore, since we're going to learn that one of the three ways that a woman is going to be acquired is relations, we purposely wanted to use drachim because derech is relations, and we didn't want to use devarim, which has to do with three things. Okay, so hatenech bebiyah. That's only good with biyah. Kesef u'shtar. But what do you do about kesef u'shtar? Kesef u'shtar is not called derech. So chazak u'baruch. Biyah is called derech, but not kesef u'shtar. Answers the Gemara, you're right. Nobody told you because of kesef u'shtar. Mishum biyah. Because of the biyah, there's a whole question, what's the hava mean really bad? You know, like, well, oh, that's what we said at the beginning. But basically, because we were going to learn about biyah, that was already enough to learn the same language of derech. That's what we're on, shosha drachim. Okay? The Tani Tarti Atochadav says, no. You know the kavanah, the question was, usually, if I'm going to come and I'm going to teach you something, derech agav. Yeah? Derech agav. Yeah, it's like derech agav, it just woke somebody up. Yeah. So what happens is like this, yeah? When you teach something derech agav, you usually go by the majority. You don't go by the minority. Here, biyah is one thing. There's another two ways, kesef shtar. So therefore, why are you going to come and push in a language, right? It's kilu right now. I'm going to come and I'm going to say something in Hebrew, right? When they're the minority, right? You have the majority. Majority are French. You have to say it in French, right? Or the majority are going to be Spanish. You go in Spanish. You're not going to go by minority. Huh? So exactly. Exactly. You should say two dvarim and one derech. Go by dvarim. Yeah, go the majority. Answers the Gemara. Hanachnami tzorech biyaninu. No, even kesef and shtar is letzorech habiyah, because the kiddushin is the beginning. The end is the what? Is the biyah. And therefore the derech, which is biyah, is really the main thing. Meaning even the kesef and everything, why is it that you come and you say to a woman, because you already know that afterwards you're going to have biyah with her, right? You're going to live with her. You're going to, right, have a derech with her, derech eretz. So that's why it's also tzorech. If you want, you can answer another answer. Hamani, why do we use the lashon of derech? So everyone understood the first answer. The first answer was, one more time, really be'emet derachim, derech, was because of biyah. Biyah is only one out of the three. The other two, which the kesef shtar, was also tzorech biyah. So that's why you said a derachim. Now that you use derachim and you didn't use devarim because we wanted biyah, now you have shalosh. Shalosh is lashon of nekeva. And really, be'emet, you should have used lashon zachar. It's not true. It all depends what we're referring to. Because whether it's in the Torah or in the Mishnah, derech could be used in both ways. Depends what we're referring to. If the derech was the lashon of the zachar, so if we use the lashon of zachar. If the derech was to do with nekeva, we use the lashon of nekeva. So therefore, in the Torah was nekeva, so we used it's a derech hashlichubah. Right? When we're talking about the derech chad, we're talking about milchama is male because men do milchama. So therefore, it's going to be bederech chad, right? Male zachar. To do with the mishnayot, the exact same thing. Shiva drachim bodkim et zav. The zav is only a male, so shiva. And to do with the female, we're talking about ar nisha niknet. It's female. Okay, that's the first answer. Iba itema, another answer. Hamani, who's our mishnah? Rabbi Shimon. It's Rabbi Shimon. The Tanya Rabbi Shimon Omer says Rabbi Shimon. Mipnei ma'amrat Torah. What does the Torah say? Ki kach isha velo katav ki tilakach isha leish. Why does it say that a man will take a woman? And why doesn't it say that when a woman will be taken for a man? So he says, means the man has to look for the woman, not the woman looking up for the man. I would say that this is all before the shidduch crisis. Right? But okay, right, but this is all before the shidduch crisis. But technically speaking, it's a derech. By the way, from here you bring a proof, right? Many times it happens with shadchanut, right? The man comes and he says, "Listen, I want to sit down and learn." Tell the woman to travel halfway across the world to me, right? And she comes and she says, "Listen, the man has to come to me. Well, I'm going to come to the woman." So who's right? So the truth is, the Torah just told it to you. Ki kach ish isha darko shel ish lechazer el isha. ואין דרכה של אישה לחזר על איש.
כן, לא אומרים שהיא תתחיל כאילו
תזרום. Exactly. משל לאדם...
אני גם צריך לחפש שידור.
100%, but he has to do it. So he says over here, משל לאדם שעבדה לו אבדה. Somebody lost something. מי חוזר על מי? בעל האבדה מחזר על עבדתו. Obviously the one that lost something is going to look for his אבדה, and not the woman. Meaning the אבדה is not going to look for the owner, right? The man. Why is that called, by the way, the Avedah? Iowa. Sleeping.
I'm not sleeping. I don't have the answer. Who's called the Avedah? She is called the Avedah?
Yes.
למה אישה נקראת אבדה?
Yes.
לפני
אני יכול ללכת איתך דיפ עמוק, אבל...
בכבוד. אני מוכן לקבל כל הדברים שלך.
לפני הקידושין?
Why is a woman called Avedah?
זה לא אני, זה עזור.
No, because if she's not married, she's not worth anything, so she's like lost.
It's the last part from the...
זה הנשמה שלו כאילו, כן.
The last part from the Tzela. It's called the Avedah. By the way, that's why there was a minhag by a lot of Moroccans that usually, for example, a baby is born with that, Mazal Tov. But הוא רק עם הכבש, הוא רק עם הזה. Yeah, but to do with marriage, they used to say siman tov. It's a good siman. Why is it a good siman? Because הוא מצא את אבדתו, את האבדה. When you look for an aveda, you have to give simanim to make sure that you found your aveda. Is it yours or not? So there was a minhag by Moroccans that to do with marriage, besiman tov. Huh?
לא אומרים את זה.
No, but usually you go to Ashkenazim or you
רק
go to...
לקחו את ה...
Yeah, they come and they say, somebody got married, Mazal Tov. No, they say Besiman Tov.
בסימן טוב.
Yeah?
Yeah, because they're all simanim for the
Simanim for the Avedah. Yeah, but that's Zafka by marriage. It's nice, no? That's what we just brought down. Okay, fine. So that I heard many, many years ago. The Haditznan, that which we learned in the Mishnah, Beshiva Drachim Botkin et Azav. Right? One second. We asked by us, why does it say Drachim? Say Dvarim. So we answered Bia. What about by the Zav then? By Zav, it's written Beshiva Drachim Botkin et Azav. Why Shiva Drachim? Shiva Dvarim. Yeah? Now there's not only Dvarim Echad. ולא אפילו שלושה, מה שלוש דברים? אפילו שבעה דברים. Yeah? I understand why he's going to tell me. He's going to say the entire Torah is Shiva Sfarim, really. You know that. The entire Torah is Shiva Sfarim. Why? You have Bereshit, Shemot, right, Vayikra, Bamidbar is split up because of the Nuni. Because that's split up to 3. And then you have the Dvarim. So because of that, you have Be'emet Shiva Sfarim, right? Shiva Dvarim, right? Shiva. So he comes and he says, why do we say B'Shiva Dirachim? Say Shiva. You see, I even answer him up. You see that? אני צריך לתרץ אותו אפילו.
אני נותן לך...
Answers,
את התשובות.
yeah. Answers the Gemara, Hatam over there. Hakamash Malam we learn. Tedarka de mechla yetera le'etui le'ziva. You know why? When a person eats, when a person overeats, he overindulges, right? He comes and eats too much, it causes zava. That's why they say that a person at Erev Kippur should be very careful not to overeat, because if you're going to overeat, even though there's a mitzvah, it could cause ziva on its own, and you don't want to be a zav on Kippur, right? So he says, "V'darka temishtia yetera la'atui le'ziva." Also, the derech, which means that since it's the derech, right, meaning you'll never come, the derech of ma'achal, the derech of ha'olam, the normal way, meaning if you're going to overeat or you're going to come and you're going to over drink, it's going to cause ziva. So because of that, that's why we use dafka l'lashon av derech, drachim, instead of devarim, to teach you, right, the concept of overeating and over drinking. Okay, until here we're clear? Very good. Says the Gemara, the Haditznan, that which we learned in the Mishnah, Hayetrog shave lailan bishlosha drachim litne dvarim. If you're already on the tangent and you're already telling me why do you use drachim, use dvarim, what about the etrog? The etrog is equal to a tree in 3 different ways, and it's equal to plants in different ways. It says over there, the etrog is shave lailan bishlosha drachim in 3 different ways. So the Gemara says, 1 second. Right? Oh, here it brings down Orlar, right? Niter Revai and Shavit. But he comes and he says, right? It's like Shar Perot Ilan, or to do with the other Ilanot or different things. So he comes and he says like this. He says, so if you're going to tell me that the Etrog is Shaveh Ilan in 3 Derachim, say Devarim. So answers the Gemara, Mishum Debaina Mitne Seifa. We need the Seifa. It says that the Etrog is Shaveh to the Yerek, the Derech Echad, in 1 Derech. Right? And therefore, since in the Seifa you use Derech, so in the Reisha you said Derechim. So the Gemara asks, fine, Seifa nami nitne davar. Why in the Seifa? Say, Davar Echad. Right? Dvarim. Right? Davar. So he comes and he answers, Gimel Amud Aleph, Hatam Kamashmalan, there we wanted to teach you, Tedarke de Etrog Yerek. That an Etrog is like a Yerek. Ma Yerek darkul gadel kol mayim, just like Yerek grows on water. So to Bishalekitato Yisuram, when you take it up, when you pluck it out, that's when you give the Maaser. So to the Etrog, Darkoli Gadele Komaim, so to Etrog also, it's going to be grown on any type of water, whether it's Megeshamim, Meashkaya, any type of water. It doesn't have to be Dafka, a certain type of water. Ubishalekitato Yisuram, and so too, it's going to be taken off the Maaser when you're going to have the Yerek. And that's why also we brought on the Derech, because over there, the Derech was coming to teach you the Derech of what we spoke about, the Derech Gidulam, Derech Gidul. So for there, we're talking about Derech Legabe Yerek. So therefore, Huadin Legabe the Reisha, we brought down Shilosha Drachim, right, to do with Ilanot, even it was only Derech Agav the Seifa, and the Derech Agav the Seifa was because that's a Derech Gidul, Derech Gidulo. Okay? We continue with Zat Hashem tomorrow.